An interesting quirk of spatial audio is that if it's done correctly, no one notices it at all. For example, teleporting a spatial source is a common occurrence in VR games. But a lot of audio development is involved in making that process feel good to users. Since the whole goal of spatial audio is to maintain immersion, we need to keep a smooth audio stream coming to the player. We never want huge ramps or declines in volume, or massive changes in reverb. It allows users to tune out things that could be physically inaccurate but don't have the feeling of a sharp cut that pulls them out of the experience. If any of these aspects are handled incorrectly, it can be very jarring. Unfortunately, when bugs occur, it may be difficult to figure out what's going wrong. That's where knowing some best practices for testing and debugging spatial audio come in handy. The first test you can do to make sure spatial audio is working is to set up an audio source 90 degrees to your right or left. To make things easy, in this example, we'll put that source to the right. If you were to remove your right headphone, the same side of your head the audio is coming from, you should still hear audio in your left ear. Just as it would with a physical sound source, your left ear will pick up sound even when it's not facing the object. On the other hand, if you cannot hear any sound out of the opposite ear, it's possible that you have regressed to stereo. This can happen because of incompatible middleware, the Oculus binaries didn't get copied to the project directory, or incorrect API calls to the Oculus spatializer. Another test that is less obvious but nonetheless useful is what's called an elevation test. In this test, let's mount an emitter to our right controller. In VR, stretch your right arm to the side and then raise and lower it plus or minus 45 degrees. An A/B test here between spatial audio and stereo shows that if you notice elevation changes in the sound, your spatial audio is working. These changes won't be noticeable if the sound is in stereo. It is very important to perform these tests in a packaged version of your game as well, to make sure the correct binaries are picked up with your build. Unreal Engine will gracefully regress to stereo if the Oculus binary isn't found. Now that we are sure our spatial audio is enabled, let's go over some tips to help visualize spatial audio sources. One thing that has been very helpful to game developers is visually rendering the attenuation curves in the engine. To do this, our sound asset has two spheres. One indicates the radius of the attenuation start, the other indicates the radius of the stopping attenuation. This practice can help answer questions to common problems like, why can't I hear this sound? And why isn't it getting quieter as I move away? Now that you understand how important audio is to your user's immersion, and the tools available through Oculus to create powerful soundscapes, you'll be able to create incredible auditory experiences in your own games. In the next course, you will be learning about implementing network features into your application.